I used to be the person who couldn't relax at parties because I was too busy checking if everyone else was okay. And when the party ended, I continued to stress about whether I annoyed everyone or not. Today we'll discuss why people pleasers live in constant anxiety. It's not overthinking and it's not sensitivity. It's something far more specific. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let's talk about the pattern. Here's what happens when you're a people pleaser. So every interaction becomes like a performance review, where you're both the performer and the critic. You're constantly scanning rooms for signs of disapproval, and you're monitoring everyone's reaction to your actions. You're just adjusting yourself in real time based on what you think others might think of you. Therefore, when you're trying to be nice all the time by avoiding conflict, living up to impossible expectations, constantly checking if everyone's okay, what you're actually doing is that you're constantly activating your nervous system. You're always on worried mode and never in just resting mode. Always questioning whether you're doing everything right, always afraid someone might be uncomfortable or disappointed or whatever. But here's what I learned from Dr. Aziz's book, Not Nice. This anxiety isn't happening to you. You're creating it by taking responsibility for something that was never yours to control. Here's my example. Let me take you back to a birthday party. Why was I so anxious? Because somehow I decided that everyone's happiness was my responsibility. After all, I was the organizer and the host of the party. The thought that anyone, might not be having the best time at my party, that fear was enough to send me into overdrive. I spent the entire evening managing, monitoring, fixing, and then the anxiety didn't stop then. The next day I woke up, I was still stressed on whether I annoyed everyone or not. And I wish I could say this was just a one-off. I had done this over and over again. And eventually this had created a persistent low-grade anxiety that had just become the background soundtrack of my life. Here is the realization that I had when I was reading the book titled Not Nice. What I was living with wasn't spontaneous nervousness or just stress. It was the inevitable consequence of making other people's reactions more important than my own well-being. Every time I tried to control someone's mood, manage their conflict, or prevent their disappointment, I was feeding the anxiety monster. But the truth is brutal and simple. You cannot control other people's reactions. You never could. And trying to do it is exactly what's been making you and me miserable. Think about what this anxiety actually costs you. You can't relax in such situations because you're too busy performing. You can't enjoy moments because you're scanning for problems. You can't be yourself because you're adjusting to everyone else. You're changing yourself to what you think they would want. Your entire life becomes about managing an impossible task, making sure no one ever has a negative reaction of you. Here's the solution. The way out isn't to become better at managing others or to stop trying. Other people's reactions are just simply not your responsibility. Their comfort is not your job. Their happiness is not something you can or even should control. But I know what you're thinking. If I stop managing everyone's feelings, what if they get upset? What if they just get disappointed? Here's the truth. They might, and that's okay. That's not your issue. That's not your problem to fix. The moment you truly believe that, the anxiety starts to dissolve. I want you to try this. This is the journaling from that same book titled Not Nice that helped me the most with this issue. Think back to the last time you changed your opinion, stayed silent, or adjusted yourself to get a better reaction from someone. Now visualize this. You're back in that moment, but this time you say what you actually thought. You express what you genuinely felt. Now imagine their reaction. Write it out. What's the worst thing that could realistically happen? And ask yourself, is this the end of the world? Or is it just a small negative feeling that I'm afraid to feel? And finally, ask yourself this. Is it worth to jeopardize my entire authenticity? and living constant anxiety just to avoid this small bad feeling that is short-lived. Your emotional freedom starts the moment you realize other people's reactions are not your responsibility. And if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. If you want more on breaking free from people pleasing, hit subscribe. Thank you for watching.